This is Eric from Pack Hacker, and today we're taking a look at the F-Stop Lotus 32, which I've been testing for the past 3 weeks. If you find this video helpful, make sure you subscribe so we can continue making content like this to help you travel smarter. Let's dive in. So as you can see, before we even get started, this pack is very large. It carries more like a travel backpack than a 32-liter bag. But overall, I do like the look. It does have this pretty large logo right here, and this has aperture blades on it with a little mountain. So people are going to know this is a camera backpack. If you don't want people to know that you're carrying a camera backpack, that's kind of a dead giveaway, at least for me. But the main pack material that we're working with here is a 420D ripstop nylon. You can see the ripstop texture there. I think it actually adds something to the fabric, gives it a little bit of texture, and it feels pretty nice as well. There is a TPU film as well to kind of add a little bit of extra water resistance. I never noticed water getting inside this pack, either through the materials, the seams, or any of the zippers, which we'll get into as well. But overall, I think it looks very nice. It's a good looking material. It has a bit of shine to it, as you can see as I move it around with the light there. But all of the zippers on this thing are from YKK. Some, as you can see, like this one here, has an Aqua Guard water-resistant finish. And then some, like up here on the top, this is just a big, beefy regular zipper, and it has this fabric welt to go over it. Sometimes when you're manipulating, at least this one in particular, the welt can kind of get in the way, but not a huge deal, and especially you're not really going to be going in and out of that pocket a ton, at least while you're out, taking photos and stuff like that, which again, we'll get into in a moment. All of the hardware that I've been able to locate on this thing is from ITW. We got a little whistle on the sternum strap here, which is nice, and everything is just really easy to adjust and is very sturdy. No issues with anything breaking or feeling like it wasn't really suited for the job that it's tasked with. So we'll flip this back over here. On the top here, we've got this top handle, which is very, very sturdy, but it doesn't have much padding. You can see there, like compared to my hand, it's really thin. So it's not gonna break or anything like that, but after you hold it for a little bit, it starts digging into your hand, especially if you have a full camera pack out on here. It's just a bit heavy. And on the sides of the pack, you can see a compression strap here, compression strap here. And then on the other side, we have 2 as well. So those are nice to kind of compress down the fabric, but you can also attach gear to that. So if you have like a large tripod, you can stick 1 or 2 of the legs through there and leave 1 free so that you can you can put it on the outside. You don't have to worry about putting it on the inside. Just a nice inclusion. And we've also got these elastic loops up here, and then these just regular strap loops here on the bottom, so you can attach an ice pick or trekking poles on the front of the pack. So something that's kind of hard to see from the exterior, but there is a metal frame sheet in this pack, and you can access it from the inside, but it runs around the outside, and it really does a good job of helping displace weight and kind of just make sure no weight is just hitting in one place. So that's an awesome thing to see. It's a lot of hiking things kind of made their way into this pack, and it's very helpful for if you have a very heavy pack, making sure that it's not all resting in one spot. But we'll talk about the shoulder straps here now. As you can see, they're kind of S-shaped. They're not super curved, but they're kind of like a little mini S there. And they're pretty comfortable. There's not a ton of padding, but they are pretty malleable, but also stiff at the same time. It's like a molded padding, and overall very comfortable, I think. We've got load lifters here at the top, which again helps with kind of shifting the weight around. Depending if you're wearing the pack all day, you can kind of move it around and just get a little bit of a change of pace to keep things comfortable. We've got these little elastic pockets here, and then we've got similar elastic pockets down here on the hip belt as well, as you can see. Nice, like very stretchy, so you can shove stuff inside there. The sternum strap here is on a rail, so you can make micro adjustments. Just above that, we've got these metal D-rings, so you can attach gear to your front so you can have quick access to it. And the back panel, again, is like this molded padding. It's very, very sturdy, but also has quite a bit of give to it. Got these nice air channels to keep things cool. And then down here, the hip belt, again, is not super structured, but it's that firm padding, so it's comfortable and really feels like it's giving you a hug and takes some of that weight away. So as you can see now that I have it on, it really does look and kind of feel like a hiking backpack. It's got, the very ample hip belt. It's not a huge sternum strap, but it does a good job at keeping the shoulder straps together. And I like the way that these shoulder straps really kind of mold to my body. And the back panel is very comfortable. Like, I can really feel that padding. It's, like I said, it's structured padding, but you can really feel it on your back, and it just adds a bit of comfort. So something you can do with this bag, I don't know if you're supposed to be able to do this, but I saw someone on Reddit actually post about it, so I figured I would show you, is you can take it off like this. I suppose you can do this with any bag, but then you can like wear it kind of awkwardly like this, but then you can access this clamshell opening on the back panel, so you can get to your camera gear without taking the bag actually off, which is a nice, weird inclusion. I didn't really use it that often, but if you're someone who doesn't like taking your bag off to access your gear, you can do that. And it gets pretty quick. Like I just did it in testing to see how it worked, and you can get to it pretty quickly, and then you're ready to go. So there aren't water bottle pockets on this pack, but there are two side pockets that kind of work as water bottle pockets, but you can use them for other things too. So these are identical, so I'll just go over one of them. But as you can see here, this one is expanded a little bit, so it has a hook and loop fastener, and when you undo the hook and loop fastener, you have a little bit of extra space to stuff gear in this pocket. On this side, you can see that that is just secured because there's nothing inside of it. It is, I think, kind of important to note that this could potentially snag on your clothing if you have clothes that are prone to getting attacked by a hook and loop fastener. But these compression straps go over this pocket as well, so if you have those tight, it can be harder to get in. And this top compression strap actually goes, the zipper actually is underneath there, so you kind of got to work with that to open this pocket or pop it open to access it fully. So I actually left my travel tripod at my mom's house. I was there for the holidays, but that did fit inside here. I have a slick travel tripod, but now I just have this Joby Gorilla Pod in there. Fits with no issue. Put that onto the side now. This 32-ounce Nalgene, oh, I didn't close it all the way, does fit inside of there. It is very tight, but it does fit in there. It only takes up, like obviously you have some room on the top, so you could stow some more gear on top of it if you wanted to, but overall very happy with these pockets. I don't necessarily love the hook and loop fastener design here just because it did hit one of, or like snag onto one of my shirts once. It didn't do any damage, but I just worry about that. I'm always really worried about hook and loop fasteners in general when it comes to clothing. But overall, very happy with this design because you can use it for, you know, a tripod if you don't want to use these compression straps to hold your tripod. So on the front of the pack here, we've got this big, large pocket. And before we go inside, I'll point out that there is a small drainage hole here. So whatever you put inside of here, water can drain out. So it's a good place if you have like a rain jacket, a packable rain jacket or something like that, and you were wearing it, but it stopped raining and you don't know exactly where to put it. You could always attach it onto one of the attachment points, but you could also shove it inside here. I just have a packable jacket in there right now. You can see there's quite a bit of room left over, so I could probably fit 2 or maybe even 2.5 of these inside of there. But if it's wet or something like that, obviously we got these same nice materials on the interior here, but then the water will come out of this hole. So anything wet or damp, it has a little bit of aeration, so it's not gonna get stinky or anything inside of there. So we're gonna go up to the top now. We've got this quick access pocket. And something to note about this quick access pocket is there's like the top loader zipper right here. So occasionally I'd be trying to access this quick access pocket and I'd accidentally grab the wrong zipper and start to open it and realize my mistake. So just be aware of that. So this kind of flops open like this. And we've got a keyring here, removable keyring, nice and easy to just pop off. While I was in transit over the holiday break, I actually attached my wallet to that because my keys are attached to my wallet. So I just knew that my wallet wasn't going anywhere as well as my keys. And then after you have it attached, you can actually like put this under this little mesh pocket here. So you can attach whatever you want to attach there, and then it kind of sits underneath there. So it's a little bit more protected. And this is elastic here on the top. I just had a snack bar in there, so it does stretch out like this. This material isn't super stretchy, but it's got a little bit of pull. So you can, I have my headphones in here a lot. You can really stuff quite a bit of gear inside of there. But if you have a bunch of gear in the main compartment, you don't have as much room to work with. And one last secondary compartment is actually on the bottom of the bag. It's kind of hidden. I didn't even, like on my first look through, I didn't notice it, but then when I was packing the bag up to leave, I noticed it. So we've got a big heavy duty zipper, and then we've got this just small pocket here. So right now I've just got the rain cover that F-Stop makes that they sell separately inside of there. It's a good place for that because it's kind of isolated from the rest of the pack. If you put anything rigid in here, it kind of makes the bag a little bit lopsided, so it leans a little bit, but overall it's a nice inclusion to stow hidden gear. So moving into the main compartment, there's 2 ways you can access it, through this back panel and through the top. So we'll start with the back panel access. So this is a clamshell style opening. You got a zipper that just runs around this padded area here, and it opens up like that. So on the lid here, we've got this small zippered pocket. This kind of looks meshy, but it's not. It's like a very thin but structured material. So this is a good place to stow batteries, SD cards, whatever you want to throw in there. And then we've got these daisy chains or just attachment loops here. I like the accent of the blue in here. Doesn't really help much for organization wise, but I think it looks really nice. So you can attach different gear here. One thing to note is that you can't really attach anything large unless you want it to sit in the camera cube when it's closed, because there really isn't much room between the lid here and the cube itself. But moving into this main compartment, the F-Stop calls this, let me make sure I get it right here, the internal camera unit, or the ICU. So there's a couple different sizes you can go with on F-Stop's site. This is the medium, and I really dig the medium because, as you can see, there's extra room up here to stow gear. If you went with something larger, you're not gonna have as much room up here to stow your extra goods. So on the sides here, you can actually see that frame sheet now that we're inside here, but on the walls here, you can see that it actually attaches, the ICU attaches to the sides with just a hook and loop fastener. It's actually quite hard to just get your fingers in there to open it and take it off, so I don't want to waste time doing that. But it's nice to know that even if your bag turns upside down, that this isn't going anywhere because it is attached on the sides here. And also there is a cover for this, so you can see that there's like a zipper running around the sides here. Maybe I'll lift that up a little bit. You can see it a bit better, maybe not. But you can close that up, so if you're at the airport or if you're in transit, you can zip this up so you know that none of your gear is going to come out. And obviously there's not a ton of room for it too, but you don't want things really bouncing around. So that is a nice inclusion. The outer walls are very sturdy with padding, and then so are the dividers here. So I'll kind of show you what I've got in here. I had a different kit in here, so I'll talk about that as well. But I've got my Nikon D750 with a 50mm lens, an 80 to 200mm lens, a 24m manual focus lens, a 35mm autofocus lens, and then my Polaroid camera. And as you can see, there's actually still some space to spare. So this medium cube, you can fit a ton of stuff inside of here. And we have these little pieces of elastic that come with the ICU that you can attach over gear you don't want to pop out or anything like that. So I have one over the Polaroid camera right now. Kind of have this one just kind of jimmied over the Rokinon because this area wasn't as tight, and then one over my camera body. So I've traveled without in-camera unit before, and this is before I worked here, and I cracked this screen, and I feel much more confident using a bag like this because of all of the padding and just the elastic that's not going to happen again. So you really can fit quite a bit of gear inside here. But as you can see, it's hard to access this upper area over here because obviously of space constraints. So now we'll go into the other access method. Let me close this up so nothing falls out. And this is that top loader that we've kind of briefly mentioned before. So we have this big hefty zipper. That's the one with the fabric loop. Kind of got to pop it up before you open it. But now we can access the rest of the main compartment. There is a nice zippered area. Let me shift that a little bit here so you can lock things down, because as you'll see as I take these packing cubes off, it's very easy for gear to get in front of, behind, or to the sides of this ICU. So put small gear in here so that way it doesn't get lost inside here. But this is a large packing cube. I'd probably call these small or medium packing cubes, and all of these fit inside without too much of an issue, kind of blocking myself from the camera there. But on the back wall here, we do have another zippered compartment for smaller items. And then I'm not going to pull the ICU out to show you, but there is a kind of like a liner pocket on the back wall there, and you can stow a water bladder there. And there is a hose pass through right here, so you can stick the hose through there. And there is also right here a loop, so you can run it through there so it's not just hanging out. So you can have a water bladder while you're hiking or taking photos, doing whatever you're doing. So there you have it, the F-Stop Lotus 32. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel. We'll see you in the next one.